guys, and welcome back. So in our previous episode, actually, we used the motion effect actually to create these nice motion effects here, which we render it just to see how smoothly and actually good actually our still images actually will look in the eyes of people. Okay, all right. So in this episode, actually, I will be explaining the effect controls. Okay, I'll be breaking down the effect co- control so you guys can actually understand how the effect control actually uh is. Okay, so when I talk of effect controls, all this side here actually, that is the effect controls, and as you can see, the heading here is also tells you that we are actually on the effect controls. Okay, all right. So starting from the top here, actually, as you can see, it's been what categorized into three different parts, which is the motion, opacity, and what time remapping. Okay, so we start with the motion. All right, so when you click on this say position here, actually, you will see that there is some kind of grid line on your video here, and you can see the center of it here. So if we are to reduce it, maybe push it left or right, you can still it's moving. And if you take a look at the center one, you can see that it's actually what moving. Okay, then when you look at the other side, actually, this one is the up and down. Okay, how you really want to put it, whether put it up or down. Okay, and if we should click on this drop down here, okay, you can actually see the velocity and the rest. Okay, whenever you are what clicking it, okay, so you see the velocity and things actually do what change. All right, okay, so now let's check on the scale. So this scale ones also, when you click on the scale, actually you see that with from the center point here, okay, you can actually click and drag, but I won't advise that, which is very hectic. So for example, let's say maybe mistakenly you just drag this and you realize that, oh, I don't have to be at that side. You can just click on this button here, reset parameters, and everything actually will be back to its normal state. Okay, all right, so the next one I want to talk about here is the uniform scale here. So now if we are to click on this on or check mark, you see that the video, or sorry, the picture actually have what screwed up. So if we are to, you see, you can screw it based on the way you want and the rest. Okay, same way, you see. So that is if you don't want to use the uniform. But the moment you click on the uniform scale, actually, it's going to work. The same happened to this left and right aspect. So now let's just click on it. So the image actually will come back to its original state. Okay, so with this one, always you just leave it always. So if we are to drag this thing all here, okay, and let's use the up and down, you see that it's going up and down. Now let's check the scale. So you see it's just scaling from 1 point. Okay, it's really scaling from 1 point. So we can just click on reset to get the picture how we want it, or we can just drag it, okay, to fill in the way we want it. So if you click on it to have this highlight, that's when you can have all these stuff here, okay, whereby you can move them around. Okay, all right, so now let's move on to the rotation. With the rotation here, if as you click on this drop down here, okay, automatically I'll have this dial here that can help me to what rotate the video the way I want. Okay, it is actually a little bit of funny, but hey, this is actually how you can also use the rotate actually to rotate, or you can just be clicking here and rotate it the way you like. Okay, so it all actually works in the same way. All right, okay, now let's look at the anchor here. With this anchor point here, actually it tells you the center of the image here, if it's video or whatsoever it is. Okay, so if we are to click this one and drag it somewhere here, so it means that we have moved the center point to the edge here. So now if we should use the position here, you see it's actually dragging from the side here. Okay, or if we are to scale it, you see that it will scale from the left hand side but not in the center. Okay, but the most important thing is always you have to make sure that everything actually is what moving from the center. Okay, so we reset it. All right, let's click on it again. Then you can just click on it. I just drag it out just to show you guys, actually, for you guys to understand how some of them actually work. So this is actually the middle of it. Okay, so this is actually the anchor point of it. All right, okay, good. Now with this anti-flicker thing filter, actually, I have never used it before, and I don't even see the use of it. All right, so now let's move on to the opacity. With this opacity, actually, as you have a little bit of idea or knowledge about how you can use this opacity, which is very, very important, which I remember we use it in our mini lesson. So you guys already have an idea actually on how we can actually use opacity. So in simple steps, let's say from the head here, I just want maybe from this side to this side actually should be what? 0. I just want the vicinity of the video actually should be 0. All right, so I'll just click to add my keyframe. So after I move the head forward a little bit somewhere here, and I decided to make it visible, which is 100%. So from the beginning of it, when it starts to play, it will be a little bit blur, then it will now be what? Visible. All right, okay, so as you guys already understand much more of it, then with the time remapping here actually is the speed, for which I will talk about that one. So that one is actually if you want to give some speed to your video, being it based on how the video actually is. Okay, so you don't worry, I don't want to get much more into that because I have a section of that whereby I'll be explaining more. Okay, all right, so the next one, actually, you know that earlier I said the effect control here, actually anything that you drag from here, being it transition, audio transition, or whatever it is, actually it will actually appear in the effect controls, so that you have the access to what, to control how you want the effect actually to be. Okay, so now let's look at the blend mode here. So with the blend mode here, that's where actually we have the layers and the stuff, okay, for which I will actually talk about it very soon. Okay, so actually in this video, actually that is just the effect control breakdown that I've just walked you through, just for you guys to understand how these effect controls are. Okay, and with this reset here, if you have made some adjustment and you think that you don't need that particular adjustment, you want to remove it, all what you need to do, click on this icon here. It will just reset the whole setting that you have done to that particular video or a particular video. It will just reset it to its original state. So for example, let's just put it to exercise. Let me just come to here, and let's say maybe I put this one to somewhere here. Okay, it's out of it. Let me just pull it down a little bit, something very small, and maybe the scale, I'll just scale it out a little bit. Okay, so now if like I realize that, oh, I don't need all these things, all what I need to do is to hit this, hit that, and I will get my video back to its original state. Or by doing that also, you can just highlight the keyframe, that particular keyframe, and just hit delete key. It all works in the same way. All right, guys, so it is actually very simple for you to actually understand the effect control here. Okay, so whilst we will be adding some kind of effects from here, we will then be coming to the effect control here to do the adjustments. Okay, so this episode is all about explaining the effect controls, okay, so that you actually know your ways in. All right, guys, so this brings us end to this episode. See you in the next video.